Welcome to Newzchain Exclusive. This week we spoke to Rishabh, Goel and Ayush Agarwal, the co-founders of Dodo Payment. Dodo Payment is changing the landscape of cross-border payments with merchants of record, and they both explained how they are doing it. And guess what? We also asked them why they chose the name Dodo. Well, it's a fun one.
Ayush, Rishabh, welcome to Newzchain Exclusive. For our audience, those who are not aware, could you just give you a quick intro?
Sure. I'll start with mine. My background, I'm a computer science grad from IT Roorkee. Worked with a bunch of different startups. This is my second startup. Previous one was in gaming. I was building a esports tournaments platform, which I sold that. At Dodo Payments, I look after all things tech and product. So I think there is a very complex sort of my job role, which is a chief product and tech officer. Generally, you can say me as a CT or something. But yeah, I'm one of the co-founders with Rishabh.
Rishabh.
Yeah, I'm Rishabh. I'm the founder of Dodo Payments with Ayush. Spent 10 years in cross-border fintech, worked in a bunch of different business models, different roles, different geographies, all non-tech roles. So I look at a lot of things non-tech, non-product, primarily focus on business and growth and legal compliance.
Right. Okay, so you both met at Antler, if I'm not wrong. Like, how did you guys come together and decided, let's build like another startup for you? And so, I mean, what was the moment that you guys, kind
So
of
when people go to Antler, they go with the intention of starting something.
Okay.
Okay, so that's like the kind of the format. Like if you want to build something, join the program, and you get two things. A, just get some amazing feedback from fellow builders and sharpen your idea. And second, find your co-founder. Okay, so we will do both of them.
Okay, and what was that, idea? How did you come up with like, let's start, startup in fintech?
I don't think like there was any aha moment, right? It was a gradual journey for me and you as well.
I think we spend quite a lot of time exploring different ideas, meeting with other folks. I think it's just that we are able to like get along on a single idea, which is today Dodo Payments. But the initial outline of Dodo Payments was a bit different. So we are exploring different ideas in which how can we make the entire journey of collecting global payments, not solving for compliance and all of that. How can we ease that pain away from the founder who can focus on building product rather than solving for global tax, payments, compliances. So we're just figuring out a product for that, and that's when Dodo Payments come in. But I think we have our own experiences in my last startup. I was building in gaming. I had users from almost 10 plus countries. At a peak, we had almost 1 million users on our application. It's just that we're not able to monetize them apart from India because figuring out gaming regulations, payments, and compliances in different countries was super painful. So I've lived that problem which we are solving today. And yeah, that comes from my first-hand experience. And Rishabh has its own journey. So
Yeah, I'll just say I don't think like startups are born from an aha idea as such. But if I had to pick an aha idea, I would be like, if you go like purchase a perplexity gear on GPT, it's $20 plus tax, 23.6. And as an Indian, you're forced to pay in dollars, and you get an international credit card for that. Most Indians don't have it. But if you download the same thing on App Store, Play Store, you can pay 1,700 rupees and pay that by UPI. And I was like, why is that happening? And that's essentially, you could say that's an aha moment.
Okay, that's interesting, and the name is also is like it's a quite a quirky name, Dodo. Like, how did that happen? Who decided on the name?
So I think we were just exploring different ideas like what should we name ourselves. I think I think the story is a bit different, but the main crux was it should be easily pronounceable, it should be rememberable. Anyone across the world should resemble with this name. And somewhat, I think just a quirky thing, we want to make the payments very seamless, effortless. And Dodo kind of symbolizes that because we just want to make payments dumb. That's it. So that's the kind of line that we want. But yeah, I think Rishabh has its own story.
They're like four
Yeah.
or five stories,
Yeah.
like, so that's why I like it. So
Yeah.
of course, making payments dumb or making things get simple.
Yeah.
We also focus on very early stage companies, so it's less of a B2B, more of a B2C approach. So you need that quirkiness in your marketing, in your communication. So that helped. It's also, like a bird which couldn't keep up with the international trade, so it was just chilling in Mauritius.
Okay.
And when the European traders would come to India, they would stop over in Mauritius and couldn't keep up with the pests and the predators.
Yeah.
So like with AI, we think the world is becoming even flatter. Like we want a new wave of companies to be insulated from this and not suffer the same fate. Uh, Also, like I don't know if you're Kannadigas, but Dodo is like money.
I'm not correct, but I think I learned something new today.
Yeah, we do in Kannada is
Money. So that's also reason. It's also, I think it's a name that and a symbol that everybody recognizes. It's an emoji for it. It's very global in nature. Like we always want to keep it global. So
And I think now people remember us not with our names but with our company, which is Dodo.
I think we also remember it as Dodo only. So today when we are we're deciding we have to go to Dodo's office to show this podcast. I think the name is actually doing its job.
Correct.
yeah, hard to forget.
Yeah, I bet. Did you guys have any disagreements? Like you came up with another name, you came up with another name.
Not naming.
Not
Yeah, many disagreements are not this.
Okay, I would like to know about other disagreements like founders they have, co-founders as
Yeah,
co-founders.
you need to have creative conflict. Otherwise, like it is impossible that two people think the same. Okay. I mean, I don't agree with most people, and you should not. Like, you should have a thought process, and the idea is how do we, walk through and get a better answer than what we would have gotten independently. So that creative conflict is a very important part of any startup or any, any good execution.
Okay, so again, I wanted to ask you have something called merchant of record, and we covered it in our article that we have recently done. Could you just explain it more to our audience who are not aware?
Very simple. I'll pick on the same example of Perplexity, where you can pay to Google Pay, Apple Pay, or Google Play Store, Apple App Store via UPI, but not on the website, right? So what happens is on the website they have integrated Stripe. They're a Californian company. They got onboarded with Stripe US. Stripe US gives them access to domestic rates in US, but any other they need to offer international rates, which means limited payment methods like no UPI and like a bunch of other UPI equivalents globally. And success rates are pretty low, where a lot of transactions fail. And it's also expensive, both on the processor side as well as on the customer side. Like credit card companies will charge a premium. We're just saying that you should not have international transactions. We look at the App Store and Play Store, where they have entities all over the world and they tie up with local processors to offer a domestic payment experience. So I might be in India, I'm able to pay via UPI in INR. If I'm in Brazil, I can pay via Pix in Real. If I'm in Singapore, I can pay via PayNow in Singaporean dollars, or Ideal in Netherlands for euros. That's the world we're building towards. Like no matter where your customer is located, we have a local entity which resells your products, becomes the merchant of record, and as reseller, able to now convert an international transaction to a domestic transaction. And as reseller, we take care of a lot of your payment stack, which includes local processing, tax, fraud, uh, pushing money into your account, and also a lot of the payment infra. So, billing, your subscription, your churn, your distribution, like affiliates, your pricing models, discounts. So, everything related to payments, be the hard rails or the tech stack, everything is inbuilt with us. So, you just onboard and it's just effortless.
So whenever there's a new, any new solution, and you need to, kind of want to onboard customers now. So did you guys have any moment where you had to explain the tech and everything and how it works, rather than how it solves the problem?
I think with everyone. So I think MOR as a term, as a platform, I think it's a new phenomenon in India. It's been a proven model, but no one actually gets what Apple App Store, Google Play Store is doing, because they are the world's biggest MOR out there. Every year, both of them processes more than $300 billion, but no one knows that they are an MOR, right? So and like there is always a learning curve when we are selling things to our customers. But I think given the presence around MOR and more uh, awareness around MORs has slowly started to pick in. So initially, I think 6 months back, it was a really difficult task to convince someone to use us. But today, now people come to us and say, hey, we want an MOR, and we heard about you, we want to integrate you. So
And even like publicly listed companies, yeah, they are coming us in the first 60 seconds. They're like, look, we're struggling with international payments and we need a merchant of record. And we've been looking for a merchant of record and we're glad you're here.
Okay, so again, this is like kind of taking traction now. This MOR. Do you think like it needs like additional push for other players to also kind of ditch the other infrastructure and come to MOR?
Other players as in?
Other sorry, not other players. I mean, for folks who are not really aware of MOR, do you think you as a company who's kind of offering this should do a little more in terms of awareness, making people aware that there's something much. Something
I
much-
think the way I would approach this is MOR is just an enabler, right? The bigger value prop is, payments are seamless, we take care of a lot of heavy lifting when it comes to compliances, etc. The tech stack, the infra is, pre-built for you. The, people respond to value propositions. Okay, like and the best beautiful cars have all of the engineering hit under the hood, right? So MR is just an enabler. We talk about MR a lot, but I would like people to work with us not because we're an MR, but because we make an outsized impact. And those are the three things, like pre-built payment infra on the tech point of view, payment super optimize, you increase your ARR or revenue just because your payments are optimal, and then all of the headaches of compliance is gone.
I think I just wanted to add a couple of things. Any large company that you think of, right? Take an example of Netflix. Netflix has multiple entities across the world. They have users across different parts of the world. So whatever we are doing, they have 1,000-member team just to manage that all across the world, right? So let's say if tomorrow Netflix uses us, they can dish that 1,000-member team who's managing payments and compliances across countries, and we'll take that headache for them, right? So I think our job is to first optimize payments. Second, remove the complexity around taxation compliance across countries if you're building a truly global business. So, and yeah, I think our simple thesis is a founder who's building a product company should focus on building a product rather than anything apart from that that diverts any attention from the product. We will take care of that.
And they say like any startup that's operating in or starting in payments and fintech, it's a very compliance and regulation heavy industry. You need to go through a lot and kind of do away with a lot of things. Did you guys face any certain challenges in terms of compliance and regulation?
I think with the compliance, the firefighting is on the daily basis. I think.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
just to like back up a bit, right? From a context of fintech, usually compliances are more about dealing with regulators. Now, in our business model, we are a reseller, so we are not moving money on our own. We work with partners who move money, who have to deal with regulators. So our nature of compliance is different and more cumbersome, because we need to make sure that whatever we are doing is something that our partners are comfortable with, in line with what the regulators ask for, and then just do a really good job of understanding what is your risk appetite, where can you work, uh, ensuring you deliver a great experience to merchants when they're onboarding and when they continuously transact, both from their experience as well as on the customer transactions as well. So there's a very different nature of compliance. A lot of it is derivative compliance, where we don't directly deal with RBI or any other provider, but we deal with PACV, PAPG, and we deal with like payment providers in multiple jurisdictions. So that also adds like another dimension to a complexity.
So I think the main point that he is highlighting, let's say if you are only solving for India, then we have to solve for RBI regulations. Right? But since we are solving for companies, customers all across the world, so the regulation challenge or compliance standard that we have to maintain are on a different level, and the kind of things that we have to build, it's completely different from a what RBI regulated player that will be. And I think compliance in general, it's always a firefighting exercise where you identify patterns, where you identify suspicious behavior, and you start blocking them. Like, it's continuous journey across the
Yeah, so
eternity.
just to add color, right? So compliance is like what for like a typical fintech, it's to respond to regulators. It's a for us, making sure we're in line with regulators and also fraud.
Right.
So fraud is always an evolving journey, but compliance we are like spot on from day zero, and we'll always be spot on.
Okay, so you folks recently raised like $1.1 million, right? And it's a headline that was nice. I loved reading it, but a lot of people don't know there's a lot goes behind fundraising. So would you like to talk about shed some light on how was the journey in that particular aspect? Sleepless nights and everything.
No, they're not sleepless nights. It's a process.
Right.
You have to first understand that VCs are looking at outsized outcomes. So just first of all, be sure that you're building a business which will have outsized outcomes. Otherwise, there's no point engaging in the process. That's one. Second is have good understanding of your business and show traction. Okay. For someone who's just starting off, traction doesn't need to be transacting customers. It can be as simple as people signing up, or you building like a Twitter presence and people, excited for something, a project coming out, etc. Or just people using your product for free and, excited to pay for a paid feature. Many ways to show traction. And then you need to understand the overall market. What are you building towards? How can it become a big company? What does it require? Etc. There are like standard 7-8 questions that VCs will look at, create a deck around it, answering those questions, practice a bit. And then there are 150 VCs in India. Reach out to them, talk to them. It's a process. You don't need everybody to say yes. You just need like one person to say yes, and then you're good.
Right, amazing. Also, like I have come across, very enthusiastic folks, and who are, very much like, okay, we have to raise, we have to scale our startup, and they just go behind pitching around every VC possible. Do you think there should be, kind of a filtration for these founders as well? That okay, these are the type of VCs that we should ideally work with. Do you
I think money is money and money is green, but not there are different shades of green. Your first priority should be to raise money, and then you're given an option like I did study abroad, right? So for a long time, study abroad, like I spent 6 years in the space. I already like first get an admit. Once you have like 5 admits, then you can choose like this one's better than other, but at least get those admits or get those term sheets.
I think basically optimizing before having an offer, I think that doesn't make sense. So
Right.
I think you should optimize for number of offers and like choose between them.
Right. I have like another follow-up question. Like I, so, in our previous interview with one of the folks who's building into AI, and I just asked him like, do you also kind of believe in that thought that there are VCs who would kind of listen to your whole pitch and everything, and they might have an opinion that this product might not work out. You may have to make like certain changes, or maybe may have to kind of have to make a pivot as well if required, and that's only maybe we can come on board. Do you think someone who's very passionate about his or her product should kind of?
I think the way I'll answer this is, as a founder, you should not chase others, but build like a great, beautiful garden and let the butterflies come to you.
Oh, that's a beautiful answer.
That's a beautiful answer, but I think just to expand a little bit, I think people are there to give opinions, right? I mean, like in the end, there is a philosophy like listen to everyone, but do what you feel it's right for you, right? So let's say if someone is passionate about building something, if some other person is giving logical input, listen to that, actually account for that, and if there are any changes, then do that. Otherwise, if you really believe that it's going to be massive, then stick to that. Because I think with every large company, I mean, like there is a VC called Bessemer Venture Partners. They have a antithesis live on their website. They have said no to Google, no to Facebook, no to a bunch of different trillion dollar companies. I mean, like every VC does that. So uh, you just need to have that one yes. And even if you don't, I mean, like you can build your own thing if you really believe in it, then you should really stick to that.
Also, what is that exact? Do you think, like, for example, if someone is building again in your space, like cross-border payments, at what point the founder should look for external funding? Do you think a bootstrap is also
Actually, I would argue with AI, cost of developing something has become so cheap
right?
and so easy. There's so much more you can build without external funding.
Yep.
Yeah. So earlier, there was a like 20 years ago there was no cloud computing, so you needed like
Physical
money,
servers.
physical servers, etc. Then you had cloud computing coming in, then you had mobile revolution. So I think with tech, with AI, the cost of creating something has become so cheap that you should, when you go to, like, in my opinion, you should now go with actual product with actual paying customers. You can even get payments without an entity. Okay, like work with a merchant record, and yeah, just you can have more proof points before going to a VC.
And I think nowadays funding landscape has completely changed, right? Because initially people used to think that a feature in a product is a moat, right? Now AI has completely changed that. Anyone can build anything within a couple of months. That's it. So now distribution, your execution, speed, and other factors really play out a massive role in terms of defining you as a defensible company to invest in. So I think people should go like as quick as possible building our product, testing the thesis. If that really works, then only think towards raising around.
Also, I think it's difficult. It's not. Even if it's not difficult, it's not very easy to get your product to the market. Did you guys have a GTM playbook? If someone can, or if you have any thought like, okay, this is a cross-border payment product or any fintech product, this is the playbook you should follow to get your product to the market.
I think fintech is a bit tedious because it's always governed by licenses, approvals, all of that that requires significant amount of capital investment. But apart from fintech, I think the best playbook is just go and talk to your customers. Right? If you think, let's say, take an example of Newzchain, right? You're building a media agency journalism platform around startups. Their audiences are entrepreneurs like us. I think just send your product to us, get feedback. If it really makes sense, if you're adding the data experience, why not everyone will use the product? So
Cool. Okay, and how difficult is to build a team and kind of. I think it's. I feel because I have like worked with various companies from various segments and folks from different walks of life, and I think it's very much difficult for a first-time founder to build that team who's like as driven as that particular person. How
I
how
would
is
say
your
for us, we like I think what we have been very cognizant of, and we've tried our best to impress to others is we're building very differently, and we're building for the long run, and we're building a company which should have a outsized impact. So the mission is very large and the ambition is very big, and that attracts ambitious people by default. So just chasing a very tough problem which is tricky to execute, but is a it's making it can make impact in like almost everybody's lives. That makes it much easier to recruit in a way where all the ambitious people, all the people who want to work on the cutting edge stuff, they want to work with you. But still, hiring, building a team is always challenging. It's just like I think the company that we're building, the problem we're solving, naturally self selects ambitious people around us.
how did you deal with like mishire? For example, you have hired someone and you just a couple of weeks you figure okay, it's just not kind of.
I mean, when it happens, we'll come back for a second round and talk about it.
right now, I think we have been
We're pretty good, yeah.
pretty lucky.
I just got this question. If somebody kind of wants to impress you, like okay,
I think that has happened with me in my last startup. It's always very painful.
okay,
I mean, like the point is, if you, I mean, like that's why we are so cautious around hiring. That if we really need that person to do some task, then only we hire. Otherwise, we work with interns and like because if you don't have conviction in what the other person is doing, if you're just hiring for the sake of hiring, there are like large chances that that hire will become a mishire pretty soon. right? If the goals are not defined, the work is not properly defined, if that person is not able to deliver that. I think that happened with me in my last company, and it's always painful to fire someone.
Yeah.
And if you fire that person, that also creates a bad culture in the company.
Right.
So
It affects other.
it affects others a lot. The morale goes down.
Right.
The work attitude, the ethos of the company takes a bit of a setback, because in a very small team, everyone is just like family. Everyone is just hanging out people, and it's like if someone goes out of that family, it's like losing someone, right? And that actually affects like a lot of morale and enthusiasm in the team.
Okay, like for someone who's watching and is very much into, okay, maybe I can give Dodo Payments a try and kind of try and join them, pitch myself as an employee. How do they impress you? Do you have like, okay, resumes, your past experience and everything? Do they reach out to you directly or?
Look, honestly, I get like 20, 30 DMs a day asking for a job.
Yeah.
Okay. If you grab my attention, like, I'll be interested. But you need to figure out how to grab my attention. So you need to do your research. Yeah, once a week someone will grab my attention. So it's doable.
Yeah, I think he's speaking from more of a business marketing and all that lens. I think for me, personally in tech and product, the past work and enthusiasm towards it. I think particularly we get a lot of good guys who have done like really great things in the past, but they want to join us for the sake of, let's say, a salary hike,
Right.
or any of that perks. Not really interested in that person, because that person won't be motivated enough to back me when the times are wrong, right? So that person should be motivated towards the vision and idea that we are building. And also past experience plays a lot of role. We don't do competitive programming, CP, and all the programming tests. It's just that how good are you doing stuff that we require, and that speak for yourself. So let the work speak for itself, especially in tech and products. So yeah.
I think we've had like one insightful conversation, and to wrap this, just want to know: do you have anything specific in mind that you want our viewers to know, be it in terms of Dodo or for someone who's building in fintech or cross payments? Anything in your mind that you want to share?
What's your audience look like?
Our audience look like startup founders, in fact VCs and enthusiasts, and again tech enthusiasts are more and.
Oh, I wish I go to VCs earlier.
Right. You can still say it.
But I don't have anything.
I think I'll do one thing for each of them. Right?
Okay, yeah, good.
For the founders, I think nowadays building tech is not a mode. So figure out distribution, ICP market really well. Then only you can succeed. For VCs, please don't. I mean, like whenever you're spending time with founders, do it cautiously, and I think mindful of that time, please. And third, for tech enthusiasts, follow everything which is happening in AI. It's going to change everyone's life pretty soon. I think 6 months back, we can't think of an AI writing code for you, but today it's almost 85% there. I think 6 months, 1 year down the line, it's going to disrupt a lot. So, like, be up to date with every trend, incorporate AI in your life, and start optimizing your existing workflows with AI so that you can be more productive.
Cool, amazing. So yeah, we had this amazing, insightful conversation. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for coming down to office. Really
Alright.
appreciate that. And setting this whole thing up.
Cool.
Anytime.